Now that's just not fair. Timothy Dalton, one of the better Bonds in my opinion, only got 2 movies before being replaced? That's only one more than George Lazenby. Come on! Unfortunately, that's what happens when a film gets stuck in development hell. Various factors, such as legal troubles and the end of the Cold War, brought the franchise's future into question. While these obstacles were eventually overcome by a fresh creative team and yet another new face for 007, the question remained. Was James Bond simply a relic of the past? Let's find out. This is GoldenEye.
GoldenEye, I found his weakness. GoldenEye, he'll do what I please.
The film begins during the Cold War, with 007 on a mission to destroy a Soviet chemical facility. Unfortunately, the job results in the death of his friend and partner, Alec Trevelyan, aka 006. Several years later, Bond is tasked with investigating the mysterious Janus crime syndicate. He eventually learns that this sinister organization may be planning to unleash a weapon known as the GoldenEye. As he works to discover the reasoning behind this, Bond is thrown into a journey much more personal than he could have expected. Now, something that you'll notice right away is that the filmmakers really wanted to harken back to the glory days of James Bond. Many narrative and stylistic elements here are reminiscent of those found in previous movies. While this may please longtime fans, it does cause the film to feel a bit derivative at times.
Something very familiar about all this.
Take the opening song, for example. It's an effective tune that sets the mood, and Tina Turner's vocals give it the appropriate sense of seductive danger. The only real issue is that it sounds somewhat similar to Goldfinger.
Goldfinger, he's the man with the Midas touch. GoldenEye, I found his weakness. GoldenEye, he'll do what I please.
However, I can't really fault this flick too much for reusing aspects from previous entries when, in reality, that's what this series has been doing for years. I guess I just expected this new era of 007 to be a little more unique. To be fair, some conventions are defied to mix things up. For instance, M is now a woman, and Bond is now a non-threatening pretty boy. Okay, maybe that was a little uncalled for, but I really don't like Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. Sure, he has a fair amount of charisma, but he just doesn't have any edge to him. He seems less like a secret agent and more like a GQ model. Don't get me wrong, Brosnan tries his best. He is a capable actor. I've even seen him play a rough and tough character in Seraphim Falls. I just don't buy his portrayal of Bond. Perhaps that stems from what I'm looking for. When it comes to figures like Sherlock Holmes, Batman, or James Bond, characters that have been played by numerous different actors over the years, everyone has their favorite, depending on which attributes they feel should be at the forefront. Personally, I think Sean Bean would have been a better choice, especially considering how memorable he is as the bad guy. He's a very polite villain, but beneath his posh performance, you can sense a spiteful anger and murderous hostility. This makes his well-mannered demeanor feel somewhat unsettling. Additionally, this works in stark contrast to his crazy henchwoman, Xenia Onatop.
Onatop?
Onatop.
With a name like that, is it really so surprising that she kills people by having sex with them?
What is your power? Help me with this.
My thighs.
Famke Janssen is clearly having fun with this role, switching from sexy to sadistic with shocking ease. However, she's not the only female presence here. We also have Natalia Simeonova, one of the more practical Bond women out there. Isabella Scorupco brings a relatability, sarcasm, and charm to this character, really coming across as an unassuming outsider thrown into an extreme situation. She's not as graceful as many of the other bikini-clad bombshells in these movies, but that's by intention. Just compare these two scenes. This is Bond's first meeting with Honey Rider in Dr. No.
Underneath the mango tree, make Kulu look so. La da da dee da da dee, honey and me.
Underneath the mango tree, my honey and me.
See? Graceful, sexy. Now this is how Bond meets Natalia.
I'm here!
Now that is a breath of fresh air. Of course, the supporting cast is also pretty effective. Alan Cumming is amusingly eccentric as Boris. Desmond Llewellyn conveys his usual humorous intelligence as Q. Robbie Coltrane lends an appealingly sardonic personality to ex-KGB agent Zukovsky. Joe Don Baker returns to the franchise with an entertaining gusto as Jack Wade, who's basically this film's version of Felix Leiter. And Judi Dench, with her no-nonsense attitude and wit, manages to put her own unique stamp on M. However, I have to ask, is that Minnie Driver? Huh. And she's relegated to being a little more than an extra? Well, that seems like kind of a waste. Anyway, the direction is also very skillful. On top of knowing how to shoot the action scenes in an exhilarating way without sacrificing clarity or coherence, Martin Campbell is able to really enhance the conversations, using different angles, movements, and large-scale sets to tell a story with the cinematography. In addition, while the first act is a little slow, some of the narrative points that the writers explore here, such as Bond having to battle a friend-turned-enemy, are admittedly pretty interesting. Sadly, the same praise can't be given to the music, which sounds pretty lifeless. Eric Serra's particular style just works a lot better in something like Leon the Professional. Overall, GoldenEye may suffer from stylistic unoriginality, a forgettable musical score, and a few recycled plot elements, but the committed performances, directorial prowess, refreshing narrative ideas, and clear love for the series make it one of the better Bond films out there. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, and/or comment. Until next time.
Other girls, they gather around him. If I had him, I would.